ಗುಡ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ನೂನ್ ಸರ್.
ಗುಡ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ನೂನ್ ಕಣ್ರಿ. ಬೇರೆ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ವಾಯ್ಸು?
ಹಾ ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ, ನಂಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ವಿಡಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೋ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ರೆಕ್ಟಿಫೈ ಇಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಇಲ್ಲ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ತಗೋತೇನೆ ಅಂತ. ನಾಳೆ ತಗೋತೇನೆ, ಸೋಮವಾರ ತಗೋತೇನೆ, ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಹೇಗೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ?
ಸರ್ ಪೈಥಾನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್.
ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಲ್ಲ, ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್, ಈಗ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಸರ್.
ಇಲ್ಲ,
ಹಲೋ,
ನೀವೊಂದು ಹೆಡ್ಫೋನ್ ಏನಾರು ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಬೆಟರ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್.
ಹಾಕೊಂಡಿ ಸರ್, ಒಂದ್ ನಿಮಿಷ.
ಆಯ್ತು. ನೀವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾರಿಗಾರ?
ಸರ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತದೆ ಈಗ?
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನೀವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾರಿಗಾರ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಮಾಡಿ ಏನಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ.
ಓಕೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರು ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕೋ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು. ಹಾವೇರಿ ಕಡೆ ಯಾರಿದ್ದೀರಿ? ಹಾವೇರಿ, ಗದಗ್, ರಾಣಿಬೆನ್ನೂರು, ಶಾಲಿನಿ ಇದಿರಲ್ವೇನ್ರಿ? ಶೇಖರ್?
ಸರ್.
ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಈಗ?
ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಸರ್.
ನೀವು ಬಾಗೇಪಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸಪುರ, ಕೋಲಾರ ಡಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್.
ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸಪುರನಾ?
ಹ್ಞೂ ಸರ್.
ಓಹೋ. ಶಾಲಿನಿ ಅವರೇ?
ಸರ್
ನೀವಿಲ್ಲ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ವಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್,
ಕೋಲಾರಲ್ಲಿ?
ಕೋಲಾರ ಅವನಿ ರೂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಸರ್.
ಕೋಲಾರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೋಲಾರೇ. ಸರಿ ಬಿಡಿ, ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲ ರೂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿದೆ, ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಇವರೇನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕೋಲಾರ ಡಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಅಂದ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬಾಗೇಪಲ್ಲಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸಪುರ, ಹಿಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ.
ಕೋಲಾರ ತಾಲೂಕೆ ಸರ್.
ಸರಿ, ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಏನೋ ಥರ್ಡ್ ವೇವ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಶೂಟಪ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಕಂಡ್ರೆ ಹಾವೇರಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಫಾರ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ವೇವ್. ಹೀಗಾದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ದು 4th ಸೆಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ಮುಗಿದೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನನಗೆ. ಉಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಂಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏನೋ ಥ್ರೋಟ್ ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. ನರೇಶ್ ಬಾಬು ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಅನ್ ಎಫರ್ಟ್ to predict the weather by some program or also by some tools. He is presenting right now. This also helps you for making the project work. Okay, just be there and try to ask questions, as many questions as possible. You should not be in a position to answer. Means to say that I'm not saying that he may not be prepared for that, but thing is that if you are getting a doubt, you answer those queries. He will first make an attempt. If not, I will make an attempt. Or if you know the answer, you make an attempt. Then in such a way, either the project or maybe the report should be a report which has to address all the issues, all the problems, whatever we are taking it as a problem. Problem in the sense, not as a troubleshoots. It is a sum of the lacuna, some of the gap, where we could not able to get such type of a gaps actually that can be filled up. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Ayesha. ಇದೇನ್ರಿ ಆಯೇಶ್ ಅವರೇ? ಓಕೆ, ಸೇರ್ಕೋತಾರ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಯು ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಶೇರ್, others will join soon. You will see that. Maybe go a little bit slow. Let him take 1 hour, not an issue. 1 hour is enough?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Even 30 to 40 minutes is enough.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. All the best. Do well. I'm very happy. Others also can try actually. Maybe project help. Otherwise, I will help. No issue. No issue. Because in the fourth semester, it is a mandatory for you to do the project work. Okay, some of them are there with me, and some of them have chosen some other faculty as the supervisor or maybe guide. Actually, not an issue. Okay. Please go ahead. ನಿಮಗೆ ನಾನು sharing option ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now it is recording going on. Okay, let it be there.
Yes, sir. Sir, are you able to see my screen?
Right now, screen is available. Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Please, all the best.
Yes, sir. Thanks, sir. Thank you for giving me opportunity, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all doing very well in this pandemic. Actually, what I want here to share is, as a part of our project, which we are going to do in this semester. So I just wanted to do something regarding artificial intelligence and machine learning. So before going to that, let me give a brief about what actually means by artificial intelligence and machine learning. Suppose you consider two different animals, like a lion or a tiger, a cat or a dog, something like that. So you can easily differentiate between those two, whether it is a cat or a dog, by seeing its eyes, its skin, its hair, something like that. Some data you already have, so that you can differentiate easily between a cat and a dog. But how my machine actually differentiate that? So I should provide some data regarding cat or any other animals to my machine through artificial intelligence, so that it can differentiate whether it is a cat or a dog. So in this way, I'm going to give some data to my machine through some models which are in Python programming, so that it can differentiate between any animals, or it can even give some predictions for whether, as we are in atmospheric science department, so we can predict something like whether it is going to rain tomorrow or not, or any other weather parameters, or cyclones, anything we can predict by having some data. As we have huge data in our data sets, even in Indian Meteorological Department are also giving some data. So we can collect some data from there and we can use for predictions. So I just gave a trial to predict something here. So so for that, I just took one example, which we have done in our last semester. In one of the experiments, we have done characteristics of Indian rainfall, if you remember. So I just want to show what actually I'm going to do with that experiment using Python. So I just want to share you something here. Sir, how can I share?
You go to the bot. What you want to share?
Yes, sir. It is, sir, I think I have opened Chrome, right?
Okay.
Yes, sir. Are you able to see my program here?
Yes, yes. It is reading right now.
Yes, sir. Are you able to see that import panda, something like that?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. We have data here, which we have done experiment. We have 100 years of data and rainfall in millimeter. Yes, sir. Rainfall in millimeter and deviation data. We have plotted a graph between year and deviation. And we said if it is more than some 100 or it is less than some 100, we have decided whether it is a drought or a flood. In the same way I have done here, I have plotted a graph. See, the same way I have plotted here by using Python program. In the same way, it is saying that if it is more than 100, it is a flood, it is less than minus 100, it is drought. So we have just analyzed the data and we have plotted. But what I am going to do here is, we don't know whether what happens in 2007, what happens in 2008. But using some models in Python, there are some libraries in Python called scikit, pandas, numpy, matplotlib. There are many other libraries. As we already learned in C language, there are math.h, standard input output.h, everything like that. In the same way, we have scikit learning and pandas, numpy, or some of the libraries in Python. So I prefer Python here. It is very user friendly. We can also do this in Java, but it needs much more effort. We have to learn more programming. But Python is very user friendly. We can learn easily within 3 to 4 months. So I just gave an attempt in learning Python. So by using scikit-learning, from scikit-learning library, I just imported linear regressor and random forest regressor. These are two models. So these are, you should learn some Python so that you can know what actually all this. So I just imported one model called random forest regressor, and I fitted my entire data to this model. The entire these data, the year, rainfall, and deviation data, I fitted into this model. So my model is ready to predict or ready to do anything with this data. As we have only 100 years of data, it is very similar to my model. We should give something very huge data so that it will be able to predict with very good accuracy. See here, I have given model.score. I have given here model.score. Sir, I am audible?
Yeah, continue, please.
Sir, I got my internet connection is unstable, so I just
No problem. Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, sir. I just gave accuracy here. It is saying that it can predict up to 78.04% like that. Since I have very small data here, so it can't read that much accurately. So I just asked my model to predict what happened in 2002, saying 753 mm of rainfall has fallen on 2002. But what actually has happened, let me check for you. It is 715.5. Actual rainfall is 715, but my model is saying it is 753 something. So since it is already said it has only can predict up to 78%, so we can't blame our model since our model has only less amount of data. So now if I give something, let me restart and run all cells. It may take 1 minute. Sir, it will take 1 second or two to 3 minutes.
Doesn't matter.
It is actually it is reading all the cells. Now if I give, where it is, yeah, here, if I give 2004, 2008 or something, it will give what happens in 2004. That means it is going to predict what happens in the next year. Let it, yeah. I just restarted every cell, so it is taking a bit time. Should import all libraries and which I have imported in this. So give me a minute, so it will, yes. It takes some time to import all these models which I have given. So let it take. If I give 2008 here, yeah, see. I gave it 2008 here. It is saying 785.818. No, it is wrong. Actually, it is wrong. It should give 914. Yeah. See here. It is in 2006, it is 927.8. I predicted for 2008. So it is able to predict what happens in 2008. This amount of rainfall is going to fall. There is 914.177 mm of rainfall. So it is saying 76.75% accuracy. This is how I used these models to predict further data. So this is just an example. What I have done is I have collected some data from Kaggle.com. There we can find many data sets. There I got Australian data. Actually, this is not Indian data. So here I have took something like more than 1,45,000 days of data. This is a huge data I have. So what I'm going to do here is I have location, minimum temperature, maximum temperature, rainfall on the day, evaporation, sunshine, wind gust direction, wind gust speed, humidity at 9 a.m., humidity at 3 p.m., pressure at 3 p.m., cloud, temperatures at different times, and rain today and rain tomorrow data. I have all these data. They have manually recorded all these data. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to give to my model up to rain today. Up to rain today, I'm going to import all this data to my model, and I'm going to ask my model to predict what happened in the next day, rain tomorrow, and I'm going to correlate my predicted values and the data which I have. So after correlating, I got 99% accuracy. Let me show you here. These are the some of the Python program what to I have done manipulations. I should not have these NaN values. I should not have something null values. I should not get null values. I should not have these no's, yes. I should not have these and all. So I just using Python, I just cleared all these no's, and instead of no, I have put it 0 here. Instead of NaN value, I have taken this entire column mean and I have substituted here in NaN value. By using Python, it is very easy, not a big issue. So here I have rain tomorrow values, zeros and ones now. Instead of no and yes, I have rewrite it as zeros and ones. Now see here, I have a huge data here for 1,45,000 days. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit entire this data to my model. As I already used random forest regressor, right? Now I'm going to use random forest classifier, because let me show you here. Where is my model? These are program. See here, I have used RoboScaler, which means, let me explain this. I have wind gust speed as 44, pressure as 1000, but it is very huge difference between these two columns. My model will get confusion. There is no relation between these two. How can I predict further? So what I did is, by using a scalar function, I have scaled entire data between 0 and 1, whether it is -1 or with some small intervals. See here, wind gust speed is now 0.33 and pressure is -1.19. The RoboScaler does, it scales entire thing to a very small interval so that it can get some relations between these two. So now I trained my model. Yeah, see here, I've imported random forest classifier model using scikit-lib, same library, scikit library, and I asked my data to fit into this library. Now it is, I just, out of curiosity, I just gave a score here. It is telling that I can predict with this data, I can predict 99.99% accuracy. I can say whether with these values, I can say whether it is going to rain or not with 99% accuracy. It is saying like that, but I don't believe in this mission. But what I'll do is, I'll just want to check whether it is telling true or not. So what I have did is, I took rain tomorrow values which are in my data, and I predicted this here, y predict values. These y predicted values I have took in one column, and rain tomorrow values which are in my data, I took these two and I created one data frame. See, I took 50 values. See here, everything is in relation with it. If it is rained in my data, my prediction also saying it is yes. It is no, it is no. It is yes, yes. See, up to 50. I can show you up to 200 also. It will be the same. See, there is no any error in this. It is completely saying I'm very good predictor. I can predict whatever you do. But still now I didn't believe this. Now what I'll do is I'll give some random values. I have given some random values. You can see here. This is my temperature. This is my maximum temperature. This is my minimum temperature. Wind gust speed, wind speed, humidity at 9 a.m., humidity at 3 p.m., temperature at 9 a.m. These are the values in these columns. You can see here what are all the values I have given. See, minimum temperature value I have given. Randomly I have given some value. Maximum temperature value, rainfall value, evaporation value, sunshine value, everything. I have 17 values here. I just gave randomly as my wish. As I wish, I have given here. And I asked my model, with these value, you can say whether it is going to rain tomorrow or not. So I printed here, if y prediction, if this value, if it is equals to 1, it will say it is going to rain. If by using these value, it is other than 1, that means it should be 0. So it will say it is not going to rain tomorrow. Thus, with these random values, it is saying that it is not going to rain tomorrow. So if we have data like this, if we have a huge bunch of data of previous month or previous year's data, we can easily predict what happens in the next year, what happens in next tomorrow, So we humans cannot predict. We always think only of 50% chances. But we using this machine learning and artificial intelligence, we can predict up to 99% whether it is going to happen cyclone or whether it is going to happen earthquakes or anything, any natural disasters. By if we have any data, a bunch of data, so we can easily import or fit it to my model, to our models in live Python language. So we can predict everything to up to 99% accuracy. And also we can shift many people, we can save many people, whether it is in coastal regions. If many people are staying in coastal regions, they don't know whether it is going to happen cyclone or not. They can't predict exactly. They can predict only up to 50 to 60% chances. But using this machine learning and artificial intelligence, by giving lot of data previously, see, everything should follow a trend. But our human brain cannot exactly choose a trend. It cannot put any trend path. We can use this machine language to set a trend, and we can predict some values like this. And I think this is very useful for coming generations, so that we can easily use this artificial intelligence and machine learning to our atmospheric science, and we can predict whether it is going to happen rainfall or not. But actually what I wanted to do is, by using the data which we had earlier, a week data or a year data, previous year data, and we can predict upcoming year data, so that we can experience anything live. So I just wanted data from any source, so that we can something do like that. So this what I want to explain, or I just wanted to share what I did. So that's all, sir.
Okay. Good. It's well done. Any doubts from others? Shekhar?
Hello, sir.
You can speak in Kannada also. Any doubts what he says?
ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಪೈಥಾನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನನಗೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
Program beta. Program is okay. That is different. Okay. I'm also not aware of the Python actually. That is different. But whatever he told in terms of the physics part of it, there are set of values for 100 years. Assume that. Okay. By making use of 100 years of data, he will make 101 year prediction how it should be there.
Yes, sir. As I did here. Yes.
But 100 years data is not only one variable. There are several variables. Temperature at 2
yes,
level,
sir.
water vapor content at 2 level, wind speed, wind dust at 2 level, pressure at a different level, and even at a different places, it is not one station data. For entire country, they are saying, no? Australia?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Entire country.
And
I have already.
Longitudes are also input for that?
No, sir. No longitude and latitude, sir. There is only state-wise, sir. These are all the states. Only for one location, sir. Albury, Kobar. You can see here, sir. Locations.
That's right. It is not one location. They are very, very different places.
Yes, sir.
Because it is not a single point observation, and weather is not depend. If it is a weather, you can say that the rainfall or the precipitation will not depend on only the site observation. It has to depend on the weather phenomena for a larger area. It is a small scale modeling they can call small scale for the country. Okay, no issue. Suma?
No doubt, sir.
ಕೇಳ್ಬೇಕನ್ರಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಏನ್ ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ವಾಪಸ್ಸು ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. So you are convinced.
Now I am getting doubts, sir, whether they have understood or not.
ಅರ್ಪಿತಾ ಅವರು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗಲೇ ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಅದ್ ಮನೇಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣ. ಆಯೇಷಾ ಅಂಡ್ ವಾಹಿದಾ ಬಾನು ಇಬ್ಬರಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಆಯೇಷಾ?
No doubt, sir.
Oh, no doubt is not a doubt. Okay. ವಾಹಿದಾ ಬಾನು?
Sorry sir, ನನಗೆ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಅನಿಸ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಇಂದ.
ಆಯ್ತು, ನೋ ಇಶ್ಯೂ. ವಿಜಯಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ?
ಸರ್ ಇವಾಗ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆದೆ.
Oh, you forget whatever you told. No problem. Just I will ask few queries, not an issue. Okay, then we'll go ahead of that one. Of course, this also helps in general view actually. Unless we see how that program works. You adapted a program. Have you gone through actually what they have
Yes,
used
sir.
that model?
Yes, sir.
Syntax for
Sir,
the model
actually-
may be different, or is
Yes,
it
sir.
a model itself is a black box?
No, sir.
What I want to say,
This
for example,
entire model, sir.
entire model within the model, how they are doing that, we are not sure of it. Yeah, okay, not an issue. It's not an issue. Because, for example, I will tell you right now. Okay, if you are pressing, if you are having a mobile, and if you are pressing some 10-digit number, it will go to the call will go to your friend. Maybe from you to maybe either Shalini or Shekhar or maybe Kiranila. Okay, no problem. Or even either Suma or Vaidabano. How it goes? You are pressing 10-digit number. That 10 digit should have to match, and that signal it should send some signal. Signal has to go somewhere, and of course that is a different issue. What I want to say that if you are pressing that exact 10-digit number, how do you know that it has to go to the concerned person only?
Yeah, so they have given some models. Same way, sir. They have given some models.
Yeah, model, of course.
Some
particularly the atmospheric models are very complex models, and predicting the weather is also complex. May not be in 1 page or maybe 2 page or 10-page line. The codes will be having a huge number of lines in the sense. Normally they will
yes, sir.
say the strength of the code with the number of the lines, need not be number of pages. How many lines are there? About 10,000 lines, about 20,000 lines of that kind. European model is about 36,000 lines, something they are saying that. In India also, IMD has not developed its own unique model actually. They are depending on the European model. They are depending on some other model. But thing is that here, for example, if it is for Australia, okay, Australia, you told.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you are using the data of the Australia as an input, no issue. The model best fits for the Australia. Assume that if you are adopting the same model for here, taking the same model and running for our territory, our India, maybe only for Karnataka, it doesn't matter. Maybe even for only for Bangalore, different stations, it doesn't matter. But thing is that for the model, it has to go several parameters as an input. One is the terrain feature, how the terrain is there, means whether there are the coastal line or maybe non-coastal line, at what height they are from the mean sea level. Okay, and other thing is it agricultural land, non-agricultural land, or maybe a mountain area, or maybe a plain area, or the type of the sand, type of the soil, type of the land mass, maybe in city or maybe in rural area, or maybe in urban area. Even at the temperature, different heights they can call. 17 level model they will call, particularly for prediction of the weather, starting from surface, one height. Okay, at a greater height about with the different pressure levels you can go. 1000 hectopascals, 950 hectopascal, 900, 850, about 700, about 650, about 500, about 400, 300, 250, 200, 100, maybe 10 hectopascal, 17 levels, particularly upward for a single station. For a single station, about the 17 levels, even 34 levels are also there, but most of the models will employ for about 17 level information, vertical information on different time level. Means at 300 UTC, means of course you can't go with the local time because the measurement will differ from time to time actually. 0 UTC, maybe about 3 UTC, about 6 UTC, about every 3 hours to get a better picture. For example, if you use instead of 24 hours on a day, in 24 hours, if you use only in 2 values, maybe one at 0 and another one at 12 UTC, okay, that will also valid, but not to that extent. At the same time, it has to go for the spatial resolution. Spatial means every 100 kilometer apart, every 200 kilometer apart, every 1000 kilometer apart. Means USA, Europe, and other countries, they are giving good prediction mainly because one is that they are at mid latitude, and another thing is that they are having a sensors particularly for every 10 to 15 kilometers. In India, we are having about more than 100 kilometers. Still, you can't get to one observation. Okay, there is different issue. That's one case how that interpretation go for the model. Okay, here 100 years of observation, what you are expecting as an, let us take it as 100 years actually. This 100 will go to the model, and the model will run while estimating. For example, you told first 2004, then 2008. Doesn't matter. Assume that 2004. For that 2004, how many previous years data is the input? Any idea?
Up to
For example,
it will take entire data, sir.
No, entire data fine. No, entire what I want to say, it is like a prognostic and diagnostic. There are the two terminologies they will use. Prognostic in the sense, based on our observation, you can diagnose the phenomena. Assume that I'm having 100 values, where that 100 values are only simple example. Y depends on X, variation of current with reference to the voltage. As you change the voltage, current in a circuit will change. Okay, you just go on plotting the variation of the current, okay, for 100 values, no issue. In between, assume that in between if there are some values, missing values, okay, if it is not an uniform, you can predict that if it is a linear curve, slope should be the constant throughout the points, actually, throughout the point means from starting from beginning to the end, the slope should remain constant. The shape of the curve, or you can call linear curve, you can call it as a linear trend. Okay, maybe the shape is in such a way that it has to go have with the linear value. Increasing in voltage has to increase the current, or decreasing in voltage will decrease the current within that limit. Here also maybe the prediction, maybe from year to year, if that rainfall trend is going that smooth, fine. But if rainfall itself is having an uncertainty, then maybe a tough task. It is a tough task. Maybe having a capability to choose. What I want to say is that assume that for 2008 till 2007, you are having inputs from 1901 to about 2007. Then you are predicting the 2008. Then that 2008, after prediction, you are comparing the available values of experimental values of 2008, that is the measured values. Then you are having the deviation. That's good. It's good actually. If our prediction goes in such a way, assume that you are having a data for 110 years, okay, up to 2010. Assume that make use of the data for prediction of rainfall from 2008 to 2007, 10 values. Compare that with the experimental value. For example, what happens if you are predicting 2001, data up to 2000 will be input. If you are predicting 2002, up to 2001 will be the input. If you are predicting 2011, up to 2010 will be the input. 110 years of data will be the input. As you are coming nearer, or very soon actually, recent data, you are having a large number of data sets. For example, instead of 2001, assume that if you want to predict the 1902, you are having only one data set of 1901.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you got it. That is the
yes, sir, I got
problem
it.
actually. How that can deviate, of course, as a large number of data is there, certainly it will be. Means, is it model is
yes.
working with the actual values, or is it model is working with the artificial intelligence?
Obviously, sir, it is working with artificial intelligence, sir.
Okay.
It follows a trend, sir. It keeps a trend.
I got it. Right now,
it will predict.
It follows a trend. Assume that,
yes,
for example, maybe the linear fine actually. Otherwise, I will give you some kind of a data. Okay, then working for some other models is a difficult task. Okay, assume that no. In class also I used to tell actually. Right now, all of you are having a very good future and very good result so far till your degree graduation. I assume that from first standard to the final year of BSc, if I take the percentage of the master scored by an individual, okay, maybe about varies from 70% or 80%, sometimes maybe vary within some 5%, not an issue. Immediately, if you come for the first semester of the syllabus, particularly in physics, like a classical mechanics or quantum mechanics, mathematical paper, you might have been little bit tough. That deviation is there. Okay, that does not mean that you don't know. Means that does not mean that whatever you got so far in your graduation, till graduation, maybe something like that is an obscure value. Maybe that may not link with your performance, that may not link with your intelligence, not intelligence, that your IQ or maybe your skills or maybe your knowledge they can call. Okay. If that is the same kind of knowledge if you are having, certainly these papers should also have a good one. Okay. Such type of the things one has to handle. There is no doubt. We will check actually. And here you replaced something with 0 in the tabular column somewhere using Python
yes,
code.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no issue. I'm experiencing my doubt in such a way. Assume that there are 10 values. Okay.
Yes, sir.
1 to 10 or 1 to 10, only in integers, 1, 2, 3, 4 of that kind. Okay. If you take the sum of all those values, what will becomes 1 to 10? Okay, instead of 4, 10 is a large number. Let us take only 4 values. Okay, up to 4 values. Let it be 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the sum of all the 4 values?
7, 8, 10.
10 values. Okay, if
Yes,
you take the average of this 10 for a set of 1 to 4, what must be the average?
It will be around 2.5.
Not exactly. It is 10 by 4. 10 by 4.
10 by 4. 2.5.
2.5. 2.5. No doubt. Of course, others are also agreeing. Okay. Assume that these are the readings. Okay. For some trial 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Assume that the second value is 2. You suspect that it is not the actual value. Okay. They have mentioned this as an NaN. NaN. Now,
NaN means they have not recorded the value, sir.
okay, I got it. Missing value you can call.
Oh, missing value. Yes, sir.
Okay, either missing value, error, that they will not mention. Even some erratic values also they will mention it as a missing value. Okay.
Yes,
My intention is that if the second number, the value, second value 2 is replaced by 0, what must be the average of this value?
No, sir, I didn't replace with 0, sir. Here
Huh?
you can see cloud 3 p.m. No, sir.
No. You somewhere you told, no, you mentioned actually that.
Sir, I did what I did is I have rain today. Here it is no. I just replaced no with 0, yes with ones.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I
Here
got
what
it.
I did is, yes, sir, NaN values, what I did is I took entire mean of this column and I filled mean value in this NaN place. So it will be not an issue, no, sir.
No. What you filled actually? NaN, you took the mean of that value, then
Mean of this entire column, cloud
Okay.
9 a.m. column.
okay.
I have filled that mean value into this NaN value.
That is a problem, I feel.
Since if it is a null value, my model cannot predict, sir. It cannot read.
No. Why I am saying no? My intention is that actually NaN. Why I told 0? Presume that if you put a 0 as a null value, then that will also be made as an entry. 0 is also an entry. You have
Yes,
to give.
Yes, sir. It will also be an entry.
It will also be an entry that 0 should not be given, or one has to assign some value. It should not be a proper value of that kind. Means either they will go with any number like 999, 49s, or maybe 888, 48, or something like that. Or they will give some character, or they will give hyphen, or they will give blank. Blank cells are treated as no data.
Yes, sir.
Code. I'm saying with the code actually. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Instead of that, if you are putting a mean value, we don't know, mean should not be substituted for the missing values, gaps, or filling the gaps. That's why I told actually. For example, you got 80% throughout your career. In one of the paper in first semester, you are absent for the examination. I can't feel that the mean of those things. That's how the results are declaring.
Yes, sir, I got it.
Can you got the idea? No,
Yes,
I'm not
sir,
saying wrong actually. We can rerun. We can rerun once again. We'll see that what best we can do that. If you're getting a better value, what you are showing right now with the deviation, still if you're getting with minimum deviation, it's a good idea.
Yes, sir.
Can you got? That is the only thing correct I got it actually. Maybe I don't know how Python works with you actually. Okay, this is fine. Can go for step of prediction. And moreover, this cycle normally, precipitation cycle, they will go with some periodicity they will expect. Then only it is possible for predicting the weather in a better way, or for the linearity.
Yes, sir.
Linearity may be starting from first to the last year. If there is a linearity, there is no issue. Or if it follows a sun cycle, preferably sinusoidal cycle, okay? Maybe for every 5 years, for every 10 years, for every 7 years, for every 20 years, for every 50 years, then you can have. If you're having a peak for every 10 years, like solar cycle of that kind, okay, for every 11th year, you can say that should be the maximum value. Or maybe you can say every 11 years should be a minimum value, or maybe any value, it doesn't matter. Only those peaks, there peaks actually. Such type of prediction is good idea with artificial intelligence. If the values are random, or if the variables are random, then it has to handle with several equations or background. It has to have the several logics to catch the information, to capture the information they can call, or to predict that such type of value with proper signature, which was happened previous, that it has to be seen.
Yes, sir.
Model in the details, I don't know how much you acquired that knowledge. Otherwise, we will discuss, not an issue. As a first attempt, it is an excellent work. There is no doubt. Okay, it is
Yes,
an
sir.
excellent work. It is in a best effort actually. One can go for predicting such type of things. Not an issue. Not an issue. Any other queries or doubts? maybe once department, if you are coming back to the department, will work more, or even with this is enough, you can take it up to work for the. My intention is that if you are running, can you have the values in an one is predicted values, one column, okay, observed values and another column, and then observed values, predicted values, then a deviation in the third one for every year. For every year starting from 1901 to the beginning till the end, whichever may be the data which is available.
Yes, sir. We can have that.
Yeah, you have it and have the plot. It not be values. What I want to say. Okay. Then you see the prediction. Means otherwise, for example, assume that you are having 100 values. Any year should not be a missing value. Then the trend will always, artificial intelligence will follow that trend. There is no doubt. I don't know.
Yes, sir. We should have a data which does not contain any null
Yeah, if
values.
you are having 100 values, okay, out of 100 values, this is then first it will fix the trend for the 100 values, okay. Then
Yes, sir.
you are estimating that what must be the possible values for any value between 1 to 100. Artificial intelligence works well. There is no doubt there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And for example, assume that 51th data, you know the value. Maybe 75 data, you know the value. 80th data, you know the value. Intention is not of that kind. For example, I told, you know the first year data, you predict the second year. You know the second year up to 2 years data, you predict the third year. You know the 80 up to 80 years data, you predict the 81st year.
Sir, what actually here it does means it will read entire data first, sir. Then only it predicts. It will take all 100 years of data once and it will be ready to predict. It will not take first 10 years, first 20 to 20 years. No, it will not take like that, sir. It will take entire data once.
That's why. No, I'm not saying that. This model, I don't know the purpose. Let us see once again. Okay. If you want to put a satellite to the Jupiter, if you want to put a satellite to the Mars, if you want to put a satellite to the any orbits, or even send a person to the moon, is not a tough task, because moon will not change its direction, satellite will not change, Earth will not change. Even though they are far away, so many technical difficulties are there. It is better to put, okay, because we are well aware of it. Okay. Even that time, even artificial intelligence works in such a way that they will send a radar signal, they will send some kind of a signal. If you are getting an object against that, even it can take a deviation. There is no doubt, because in US cars are moving with artificial intelligence in such a way that not man driven, it is the machine driven of that kind actually. But the phenomenon is known. Atmosphere will not behave like that. Even if you are having 100 years of data, one year it will behave in a different way where it is not under our control. Not our expectation actually can call. It may not be control, not in our expectation.
Yes, sir. I got it.
Okay. We'll check actually. We'll check. I'm not denying actually. In the sense, since as far as my knowledge concerned with the atmosphere or maybe weather phenomena or with the precipitation is that even though we are having so many research papers published, almost 110 papers published actually. Okay. Yesterday I gave one talk actually between for all the faculty members throughout the state, even some of them from outside Karnataka. 2 colleges, First Grade College of Gauribidanur and First Grade College of Chikbalapur has planned how to write a research paper for the PhD scholars. It went for more than 1.5 hours. It was a good presentation. Why I told? Because right now for my credit, I'm almost having about 110 research papers which are published in very good journals. Okay. It says that particularly from atmospheric and space physics, including planetary physics of that kind, maybe for example, solar cycle will not change much. Okay. Change in temperature, even otherwise I will share you the data of 100 years of rainfall data over Bangalore. Can you get it? You
Yes,
try. Okay, the same data you utilize what I gave last time.
Yes, sir. You
No,
gave.
that is the data in the sense that is the all India data, all Indian average data. Okay,
Yes.
all India average data for entire country for India.
Sir, actually, if we have more features, we can predict well, sir. Like temperature, clouds, sunshine.
That I will try to get. I'll try to get actually. I'll try to get. Or can you convert this code to something else which can be known parameter to a great extent?
Known parameter in the sense.
I will let you know. We will discuss more in better. That is far better. Okay. If there is a case, it is already 3:45. There are no doubt we can wind up. We can go for class by 4 o'clock today because I have not scheduled the meeting for the juniors. What do you say, Naresh Babu? We will take it up. There is no doubt. Even with this is I'm not denying actually. This is how the interaction gets to go. Discussion, always the discussion should be encouraged. Then only we will improve. Means negative points, thoughts, or maybe some doubts should not be any hindrance. Should not one should not feel that so many queries are there, it doesn't work or something like that. Everything has to work. Even Einstein received so many comments. Even Einstein's papers also got rejected. Okay. Even if you submit a paper, Einstein paper, without taking the entire thing and changing your name, is not a good idea. There are chances that people will reject. Journals will reject that paper without comparing the papers. If, for example, assume that the Newton has worked for the gravitational force, particularly for the apple. Okay, apple has fallen down from a tree, and he found that there must be something that on the earth it is attracting the apple. Okay, instead of the apple is flying up or moving aloft. Instead of apple, let us take orange. Let us take some other fruit. Okay, like orange. Orange also follows. If you write the theory for the orange, okay, can we expect that the Naresh Babu theory for the gravitational influence? But paper may be.
We may get plagiarism, sir.
What?
We may get plagiarism. Value will make it.
That is no. Nowadays, the plagiarism they are saying that at least. Okay, even such type of things may not have included for the plagiarism. Okay, I got it actually. I'm not saying that. Without seeing the content, without if it is undergoing for the plagiarism, if you give to somebody else, there are chances that will be for the rejection. What I want to say that review is a different kind. That's why review should be always in positive way, should not be understood. Okay, we'll take it up actually. We'll take it up and we'll also get back to you soon actually. We will try to finalize something. Okay, but whatever you have done, we'll make it as a report first. That's far better. Okay, you just convert that into the text by some means. Okay. Then we will see that, including the code, including the coding actually, including the coding. Even
what I want to do is I want to do for Indian data, sir.
But Indian data should be available, no? That's why Indian data. See, Indian data you want to do means that's why I told data for temperature, pressure you are expecting, but the model will not accompany that mean sea level, height, and the terrain and the mapping. Actually, assume that the 100 points what Australia is having, the same 100 points should not be replaced by the Indian territory.
Oh, yes.
Values are different.
We can use another model, sir. We have plenty of models. We can.
No, that is why for Indian model only you have to use that. Then that is the case. My intention is that okay. Assume that a plain area of, for example, 1 square kilometer, some 10 square kilometer, 10 by 10 kilometer. If you take from you are from Bangalore only, no? Arkola.
No, sir. I'm from Hindupur.
Okay. If you take in Hindupur is more or less plain land. Okay. After Hindupur, Anantapur, such type of things. If you go for Kodagu, or if you go for Himalaya, if I take in 10 kilometer by 10 kilometer surface area, okay, 10 by 10, then the mountains area is there. You can't have for example, only a simple car which can move with robot on over Hindupur and over Madikera or maybe over Himalaya.
Oh, yes, sir.
That you got it right now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Means I'm not underestimating. Their inputs are for their territory. That is well known. They will call it as a geoid. For the geoid, they have put that information. The models will run with that. Okay. If you want to use, of course, otherwise there is no way. We can have the same. But that is why. How that is linked with artificial intelligence, you have to see that. How that is linked with artificial intelligence, we have to see that. And pressure value, what you are expecting, 1007 will never get here. Here almost about 920 hectopascal here for us. Okay.
Yes, sir, it will be not an issue, sir.
No. See right now. Now, two things will come into the picture. Models will run based on the data. For that data or for that artificial intelligence, all values are only the numbers to follow the trend. Okay, fine. Here intention is that physics has to go. Physics is having some application or significance such a way. The pressure for 900 differs from pressure for 1000. you say that if the pressure is around 1000, is at the mean sea level, roughly. If it is the pressure is at 900, the station is at a height of about 1 kilometer from the surface. Physics, which is borrowing, wind has to come from surface to the 900 hectopascal by spending an energy that is having a different dynamics rather than working on alone sea level. For example, if you work on only oceanic environment, whichever will be the ocean, either Indian Ocean or Pacific Ocean or Arabian Sea or Bay of Bengal, well interior, not deep wise, about away from 10 kilometer, away some 100 kilometer away from the land, all models will work. There is no doubt, either for Indian Ocean or Pacific Ocean or Red Sea, or doesn't matter. But for the same thing will not work for Bangalore, same thing will not work for Mangaluru, same thing will not work for Goa or Hindupur or something like that. That doesn't. That we'll try to attempt it. It is not an issue. But even we can use the same thing. We can say that this is the development of a program on by making use of the Python and understanding the code and running the data of the Australian data. And with this data, by making use of the artificial intelligence, we in the sense you only, you can able to predict, you can able to predict the rainfall for any of the year. That is the intention. I hope you got it now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for that there is no doubt, there is no ambiguity. To extend that theory for any of the years, or maybe for different territory, we need some other. We need means we have to understand in a better. We have to understand some phenomena better, not better way. We have to understand several other processes actually. Otherwise, IMD will never go failure in predicting the weather for India.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, maybe if you are here. Recently, I received a message. You stop sharing. Just I will. Oh no, already 53 are there. I will go with it. I received a mail from the director of Indian Meteorological Department, IITM, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, to have a rainfall prediction for Bangalore environment at a cost of 100 crores. Can you take up this work? This is the mail what I received from last 10 days back. We need radar. We need weather stations. We need so many things. Means at the cost of 100 crores, can Bangalore University can take a work for predicting the weather for the Bangalore, like a very short range forecast. For the Mumbai they have done, for Chennai they have done, for Bangalore it is not there. If it is the case, then we will be the number one in the world. Number one in the sense, maybe the same ranking can say that. Okay. I thought of sharing that mail. It's not a good idea because already we are approaching for. I will go for class if you don't mind. Okay. All of you. Thanks. Congratulations, Naresh Babu. And I seek a similar type of a presentation from all of them. Don't go for any other work what you want. Maybe even for some small topic, whatever there in your syllabus, you present it actually, not for project work. Then we'll also take up the project work somewhere in the middle of June. Is it okay?
Okay.
Thank you. I will share this video for you. I will end the meeting.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Wahida Banu, thank you. Vijayalakshmi, Aisha, Arpita, Suma, Shekhar, and Shalini. Thank you, I have to congratulate Naresh Babu.
Thank you,
Who
sir.
has to give party, that is different.